Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cat's Track, number 5. I would like to introduce you to my dear friend and mentor, Steve Allan, on today's episode. I met Steve when I joined the Rotary Club of Calgary in 2005. He'd been a long-standing Rotarian by then, and his passion for our community was obvious through his actions. I decided that I wanted to be just like Steve Allan when I grew up. It is a big goal, and I plan to work hard on it every day of the rest of my life. Please find his professional bio attached. Steve was born in Calgary and his family has roots here, going back to the 1880s on his mom's side and early 1990s or 1900s on his dad's side. Deep roots for a strong foundation that can withstand any storm. Steve has been married to his amazing wife, Margie, for 47 years. They have 3 kids and 8 grandkids, and they're all awesome. I asked Steve outside of his family what his greatest passions were. It was no surprise when he said that it was all about our community. He said that we have an amazing community with lots of challenges. However, he said that we will persevere and emerge even stronger. Another reason why we all love Steve. His positivity and optimism is infectious. Thank you for your service, Steve, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Catherine. You're too kind.
Just speaking the truth, Steve. I mentioned we had a few questions for you today, and I know that you had them in advance. May we start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonderful. So, number one was, what was your biggest challenge in the last 2 months?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. It was interesting. I had a conversation with a fellow yesterday who said he was feeling guilty because he and I felt exactly the same way. I've been sort of in the comfort of my own home for this past period of time. Um, Dealing with challenges on a few boards that have been on and that I'm on, and a few other organizations that have challenges. But I'm spending more time here. I'm sleeping better. I'm eating better. I'm working out. My workout regimen has been more consistent, and going for walks with Margie, which she's been after me to do for years. Finally, for that. And at the same time, you feel guilty because so many people are in our community are suffering, and I know my kids they all have challenges in their own circumstances, but we know we're all going to get through this. We're going to work through it as a family, and we're going to work through it as a community, and we will be stronger.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And the next one was the top 3 things that you would like to share with our audience today.
Well, I was thinking about this too. Every time I kind of stop to think about Calgary and the challenges that we have, when we seem to have had more challenges lately in the last several years. But I go back to our values as a community, and so the first thing I guess is, and I think these will resonate with people. We actually did some research on Calgary's values when I was president of Stampede in around 2005. And we revisited that when I was working on the Calgary Poverty Reduction Initiative, whenever that 2010ish or so. But there are values that I think are at the root of our city that people will recognize, and our neighborliness. We care for one another, and we look after one another. We're concerned about one another. Our commitment to our community. So we have a volunteer spirit in Calgary, unlike any other place, I think, probably on the planet. Our openness and forthrightness, those are qualities that are pretty common in Calgarians that we refer to at the Stampede as our handshake honesty. So, you I guess you can't shake hands these days, but you shake hands on a deal, and a deal was sealed. Pride of place. We love our city. We love the land around us. We love the our southern Alberta land. We love the First Nations. We have amazing relations with our First Nations communities in Calgary, unlike probably any other urban center in Canada and maybe in North America. And our energy as a community, as citizens, that entrepreneurial spirit that we often talk about, that can-do attitude. We get stuff done. And I think when you combine all of that, those underlying values are part of our culture as a city. And Tourism Calgary hired a consultant many years ago from out of Holland, I believe, and he had done work all over the world on community culture and tourism. What attracts tourists to a particular destination. So I listened to a report that he gave. It was a video report, I think. But he talked about, you're good on this, you've got some improvement to do here. But he said the one place where you are off the charts that I've never seen anybody like it anywhere in the world is on your culture and on those values that I just mentioned. And so I think it is unique. And when he developed, in doing his studies, he does interviews. He does interviews with people that have visited here, that know Calgary, that live here. He digs down into social media, very, very extensive reviews. So it was real research, I think. And the second thing, that beyond our values is what I would call other attributes that we have in Calgary. No question, we have a young, well-educated workforce. Amongst the youngest, most educated um, population in the country, and we're culturally diverse. We got the third most culturally diverse city in Canada, as I understand it. We really have a low cost of living compared to any other city in the country. People like to complain about it, but even our business taxes, our property taxes are reasonable compared to other places. Our utilities are cheaper. Food, entertainment, all of that stuff is, it's a pretty reasonable place to live, and with a big city feel. One of the other things I think that surprises people is the ease with which we get around Calgary. I think there was a survey a little while ago that we had the best transportation system, roadway system in North America, which astounds people. But when you think about it and you experience other places, it's pretty good. And then I think what's really outstanding are our recreational attributes. We have a pathway system that is probably the most extensive in North America and is absolutely outstanding. Our parks, the foothills, the mountains that we're right next to, hiking, biking, skiing opportunities. So all of that, I think, those values and those attributes are why The Economist named us the most livable city in North America. And over the last several years, we came up to number one. And I think in the last year we used to be at number 2 or 3 or something. But I think that's what's going to get us through this. Is it is such an incredible place to live with incredible people. So I don't know how, that's a lot more than three. I grouped them into a couple, but anyway,
No, it was perfect. It was
that's
perfect.
that's who we are as a people, and that's why we're going to make it through this.
I agree, Steve. I agree. Thank you. And then the final one is, do you have a good news or legacy story that you'd like to share in closing?
Well, I think our legacy, I think building on what I just talked about, um, we all of that that I mentioned has made us innovative. We, you know, we The innovation of our energy industry has been unbelievable, and we know about unlocking the mystery of the oil sands has been unbelievable when you read this, when you think about the history of it and what we're doing there now, and what we continue to do in driving down GHG emissions and the work that's being done on renewable energy and so we so and we're doing similar things with agribusiness. So Calgary is world class on energy, agribusiness, I think transportation, health sciences is emerging, but we have unbelievable things going on at U of A and U of C.
Mm.
But those are, I think in industries where we can own them. And with the values in our culture, Calgary is going to be the place to be to unlock find the solutions to the challenges in energy and in food and in transportation and in health. So what better place in the world to be? So I think we got that. That's our foundation, and we need to take a long term view to all of this. And we're in a mess short term. We're in real tough, but what I think I've just talked about is that's our hope for the future. And it's those values and those other attributes that are going to help us get through it.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. Well, everybody, that was Mr. Steve Allan, an inspirational leader and community builder. Now you know why we all love him.